Welcome to episode 34 of the Tough Draw Talks podcast. I am your host, Brad Hughes. Appreciate you being along for the ride. This afternoon, we are coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas, down in the historic stockyards at the Brand Room, where if you're looking for an authentic Western experience and some of the best food you'll find, you can find it here. Before we get started, we would be remiss to not only thank the Brand Room, but also our presenting sponsor this year, the Lane Frost brand. We appreciate everything Stetson and the Frost family has done for us here at Tough Draw in all of our ventures, including this podcast. Be sure and visit lanefrost.com for some amazing hats, shirts, and everything Lane Frost. Last night, I sat in the stands at the PBR World Finals and got to watch today's guest be announced as a first-time finalist. He's a world champion freestyle bullfighter, and he's also handled cowboy protection duties in the Thomas and Mack in front of the yellow bucking chutes at the NFR. None other than Tuttle, Oklahoma's own Nathan Harp. Harp, how you doing?
I am great. Thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, man. I almost stumbled over the Tuttle, Oklahoma.
You're good.
Didn't roll off the tongue quite well. But no, man, it was cool to see y'all last night. You get introduced at the PBR World Finals. We're excited to be doing a series here for the World Finals and have a lot of great guests lined up this week, and appreciate you kicking it off with us.
Yep.
Man, I don't know how many, if you've gotten a chance to listen to the podcast very much or not, but we do some icebreaker type questions just to kind of loosen you up. Some easy stuff that you should be able to answer. Okay. If not, we've got some problems. All right, what's your favorite? Let's start with favorite food.
All right, favorite food? Breakfast. And it could be donuts. It could be, bacon and eggs. It could be pancakes, like anything and everything breakfast.
Breakfast. All right. I'm a big fan of breakfast. I like having breakfast at dinner.
I can eat it all 3 meals and be happy.
Yeah, my boys, that's one of their favorite things. When they hear we're doing breakfast for dinner, they freak out.
I was that little kid. I was like, man, let's do it. I love it.
Heck yeah. All right. So this is just kind of a general question, but what do you think so far is the coolest moment in your career?
Man, I mean, obviously being here at the PBR Finals is one of the top, 5 moments in my career. I'd say this at Thomas and Mack, and then winning the World Championships at Ada, and then winning Salinas. Those are probably my top 4. And I don't know what order I would put them in, but those are like the
cream of the crop.
Yeah, exactly.
They rose to the top.
Yeah, definitely ones that stick out.
Absolutely. So we asked this about a lot of bull riders, but I'm interested, or even rodeo cowboys, but I'm interested to just kind of hear, as a bullfighter, do you have any superstitions or any kind of pre-event rituals that you like to do?
So, I mean, I don't have any superstitions, but I am a very ritual guy. I get up, put the same sock on the same foot, stuff like that. I like to get to the arena at a certain time. I like to go through my warm-ups about the same time and get ready. I kind of have my ways and are set. If you ask my wife if I like change, no, I hate change. I want it all to kind of be the same.
I hear you. No, that's good. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody does a little bit. Does it a little bit different. All right. So if you were not a bullfighter, what would you be doing?
So I didn't listen to my grandma, and I probably should have. But so I went to college, and she told me that I should have been an accountant. I was no, I don't want to do that. And I ended up getting just an ag business degree, just something generic. But looking back, I should have done that. I love numbers. I should have been an accountant. So
so I actually love numbers too. I'm a big math guy. I do a lot of math in my head and all that. All right, this one is a little bit trickier. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, dang. That is tough. Dang. I mean, 8 Seconds is up there as a little kid, but as I've gotten older, I love comedy movies. I'd say Rush Hour. Okay. And Rush Hour 1 or 2 are probably the top 2.
Okay, so speaking of Chris Tucker, have you got to see Air yet?
No, I haven't.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the
Michael Jordan.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Okay, highly recommend.
Okay.
I heard it's coming out. I think it's coming out on Netflix later this month.
Sweet.
But I went and saw it. Chris Tucker's in it.
Yep.
That's what made me think about it. Yeah. So he's great.
Yeah.
He's classic Chris Tucker. But it's Matt Damon. It's Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
They wrote it together. It's fantastic.
I love The Last Dance. So
absolutely.
I mean, if I love that, I can only imagine Air's gonna be good.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. It's so cool, and the cast is just absolutely
they did well
stellar.
with it.
All right. So this one is the last little icebreaker, fast fire question.
Yeah.
And this one always evokes some thought, and I like diving off into the rest of what we got to talk about today. But
Okay.
what's the best compliment you've ever received?
That is a tough one. I don't know. Like I try to be a humble person, and if somebody compliments me on that, it makes me think that I am doing it. Which maybe that makes me not humble because I appreciate that comment.
It's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, I've gotten to know you over the last couple of years with your relationship with the Lane Frost brand and
Yep.
with Stetson. So I would have to say that I consider you a very humble guy.
Well, I appreciate it.
But man, let's just start from the beginning. How'd you get into bullfighting?
So I didn't grow up in a rodeo family, but I loved, as a kid, going to rodeos, and I loved rodeo clowns, the bullfighters, the barrelmen, all of it. And as I got older, I kind of realized there's the barrelmen, they're funny, and I'm really not that funny. So, and I do not like public speaking, so that really didn't fit me. And then like the bullfighter, I just love the selflessness of what they did. You know, it was a very selfless job. Like a lot of times you're out of the limelight, but you're close to the limelight. And so when I was almost 16, I went to school, kind of learned the fundamentals, and then just kind of went to school of hard knocks, going to practice pen. And then after high school is when it kind of took off for me. I surrounded myself with the right people. You know, in 2008, I met Chuck Swisher and Cody Webster, and both those guys became some of my best friends, you know, and just surrounded myself with those type of people. And God just kept opening door after door for me. It was a wild ride to see where I am today, and looking back how far I've come. But, you know, it's real neat to see where God's led me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you're 33. You're married.
Yep.
How long have you been married?
So this November will be 7 years.
Okay. Awesome. Yep. Awesome. What does your wife think about what you do?
So honestly, honestly, she's not a warrior. She doesn't get freaked out. Like through the injuries and stuff that has happened, she has kind of had like a sixth sense, like, okay, something's not right. Even if I've gotten up and finished or something, she knew that something's off. But she's never been like she'll video and I'll get hooked and she's not screaming in the background. She just keeps her calm, finishes the video.
Does the camera shake?
No, not at all. You know, now if you ask my mom's the opposite. Like I have videos of back like when, you know, I'm in high school and she's there and like my grandpa or my stepdad are videoing and you can hear her screaming in the background. You know, she knows that I'm getting hooked. But Kayla, she's not that way. She's always just had the peace about her, and I'm sure that's what kind of drew me to her, is that she understood from the start. Even though she didn't understand the sport, she understood the start that I kind of knew what I was doing,
absolutely,
and the peace that she had over
absolutely. So not growing up in a rodeo family, how did that work once you kind of took to it in high school? Like, were your parents supportive? Is it something that you know?
Yeah, I mean, they were and they weren't. Like, they were supportive as far as they loved me enough to let me chase my dreams. Yeah. But they weren't at the same time. They're like, you should go to college.
Go to college.
Yeah, you need to get a degree just as a backup plan. You know, like if you need help with your resume or whatever, we'll help you. You know, but they've always been very supportive and
That's
been there for me and through the good and bad times. You know, I mean, bullfighting, you have good days and bad days. You have injuries, you have losses, you have wins, and you have the mountains and the valleys. And family's been very supportive and there through all those times.
Absolutely, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
So, bullfighting.
Yep.
The only other bullfighter so far we've had on the podcast is Bryce Rito.
Oh yeah.
But it was back in 2020.
Oh wow.
He was one of the very first guys we had on. You know, I was green. I was terrible. I probably still am not great, but I'm getting better.
I think you're doing great so far.
But no, when I talk to Bryce, I'm interested to get your perspective because, you know, bullfighting, you know, we have a lot of bull riders on. We have a lot of rodeo cowboys on. But, you know, talk to me a little bit about just bullfighting because you met Chuck Swisher and Cody Webster and guys like that.
Yep.
How did you start? Because there's two types of bullfighting, right? There's cowboy protection and then there's freestyle.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about your path through both.
Okay, yeah. So for me, when I first started, like when I went to that school, I was like, I'm doing protection only. And looking back, it was the fear. Like to the cowboy protection, it's so just reaction. Yeah. Where like freestyle, I have to make myself go out there and nod for this fighting bull. By myself. I don't have a partner anymore. And so, but like when I met those guys, they were doing freestyle and stuff and started going practice spin and realizing that it's just bullfighting, right? Like, you can break it down into freestyle and protection, but it's just one. And once I kind of got past that, and then I realized that freestyle is a way to get your name out there before you have these rodeos, these bull rides that you have, you know, and it's opportunity to go make money.
Yeah.
You know, and so I started going in 09 to some freestyles and had some success. And I had some injuries too, you know, of course.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, like, I do love this. But before I know it, I was so scared. And then afterwards, I'm like, man, this is awesome. Can't wait to do it again tomorrow.
Adrenaline rush.
Yeah, then the next day, it's like, oh, man, I'm so scared. And then you nod and you're like, man, I can do this. But so I really, like, I credit freestyling to get my name out there. Like, when I won the world in 2011, that really kind of brought my name out there to people and kind of showed that, you know, that I could do this. And then not long after that, I started getting my PRCA, PBR card.
Yep.
And, you know, slowly started picking up rodeos, but I still had freestyle where I could go out there, make some money, and get my name out there, you know?
Absolutely.
And I, like I said, like, I don't think I'd be where I am today if I didn't freestyle bullfight when I was younger.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you kind of think it's that stepping stone that you kind of need.
Yeah. Like, I tell young people, I'm like, that want to be bullfighters, what do I need to do? Go to a good school.
Yep.
And then go get into some freestyles, you know, get your name out there, because that's the only way people are going to, you know, and there's people that have had success, you know, Joe Bumgarner, he never, you know, freestyled really a whole lot, but there's been a lot less guys like him. There's been a lot more guys like the Frank Newsoms, the Cody Websters, the Dusty Tuckness that did freestyle to kind of get their name going.
So when I watch freestyle bullfighting, I see a guy at the Coliseum with his phone sitting on his knees, you know, like, is that, like, has the sport evolved as much as everything else does, or is it always been that crazy, or like,
I think it's,
I mean,
always
obviously
been that
you didn't
crazy.
always have camera phones.
Exactly.
But.
So that part of it has evolved. But as far as the athletes, like, I really feel like the late 90s, when some of the guys that came on, like Lance Britton, and he was the first guy that I know of that flat-footed a bull, and then he was the first guy to cape a bull that I know of, you know.
Walk us through what that means.
So a flat-footed, like, you know, a normal jump is where you run at him and then jump. Flat-footed, I'm standing flat-footed, the bull comes at me and I go up.
Oh my gosh.
And then
so you gotta have mad vertical.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I used to do it. I don't do it anymore, but when I would take a step, but I wouldn't, you know, but yeah. And then a cape is like where you fake one over, but you don't step all the way out, where you can kind of drape your arm down the back, kind of like a matador's cape.
Type deal?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I think that it has grown, and the evolution of sport is moving just because of social media. You know, like people are able to, you know, back then you'd have to watch it on VHS. Now you can get on your phone and go to YouTube and watch Cody Webster or Chance Mormon or whoever, you know. And so to see the evolution, it's neat to see. And I feel like right now there's such a deep talent level in bullfighting right now, whether it be protection, freestyle, or both, that it's cool to see the sport moving in that direction, that people are able to make a living and to grow that future generation.
Absolutely. When I watch y'all out there doing cowboy protection, like last night, for example, so usually there's 3, right? So I guess for the World Finals, with there being 4 y'all, like, it was interesting to always kind of see you all kind of have your roles and stuff like that, right? So do the roles rotate, or how does that work? Like, when you're in the dirt, whether it's 3-man or 4-man crew, like, kind of how do you navigate that?
So as far as this is the first time I've done like a 4-man crew, other than like at a practice spin or something. So I've had a little bit of practice, but so, I mean, it's just being disciplined, and that fourth guy's whole is to just stay out of the way and let the other 3 work. And then you're kind of rover. You're watching that bull rider. If he's knocked out, and you need to kind of move him a little bit, you know, or not move him, but you know what I mean? Like be kind of a shadow. But, I mean, each bull is different as far as your role. You know, I mean, my role might be this bull to hit the gap, and then Lucas and Bryce are there to get the offside or the pick, you know, and the next bull, it might be me where I'm in that role. It just, each situation is different. But as far as like roles too, I mean, it not only in the moment, but also as a team, you know. I mean, like, what is my role in the team? I feel like I'm a really good encourager and uplifter, you know, where you know, Bryce is the cheerful, funny guy, you know, Lucas is the serious guy, and then Webb can kind of be the captain, you know, as a veteran, you know. I mean, he's been here 10 times, so it's cool to have this group of guys out there and just getting to have fun and do what we love. Absolutely, man.
So last night, so the roles just kind of rotate through. Okay, y'all don't just send Bryce in to get hit every time.
No.
Okay,
not yet, anyways.
Not yet. Might get to that point. Bryce, you're the man. No, that's really cool. So when I think about what y'all are doing with cowboy protection, you talked about why,
Yeah.
right? And that was a big thing for Bryce too a long time ago when we talked was why.
Yeah.
Like, so what is your why when you think about what you're doing?
Yeah. So my why, I feel like, I'm a firm believer in faith in God, and I believe that, Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and to see his love on the cross, how he selflessly gave himself, and we're supposed to live by, his standard day in, day out. And if God's given me this talent and these opportunities and I can step into them and be selfless, I feel like that's a good way to follow him, and to be able to follow him in this opportunity and role he's given me. I want to do it with all that I have every single time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Amen to that. So you alluded to your successes, Salinas, the Rex Dunn winning the
Yep.
world title, NFR. So when you got a call for the NFR, what was that like? Do you remember it pretty well?
I remember it like it was happened just now. Like
Yep.
it was. I've been on the short list. So like the top 20 vote in the first round of voting. They take the 5 vote getters and it's a short list.
Yeah.
And the next round is where the top 3 vote getters are your ones for the NFR. So I've made that short list 4 times, and 3 of those calls have been bad calls.
Oh man.
So I knew what that phone call was like. So
Yeah.
I was sitting there with, we were working rodeo in Belleville, and it was Tuckness and John Harrison and then myself.
Yeah.
Those 2 get their phone calls within seconds of each other. And mine comes 10 minutes later. I'm like, well, all the people that have got it have got it.
Got their calls.
Now they're going through the people that didn't get it. So I was like, well, I'd already kind of made peace. I told Kayla, I was like, hey, they already got their phone calls. I don't think I got it. Like I answered the phone. The lady's like, hey, is this Nathan? Yeah. And she's like, hey, just want to congratulate you. And I'm sure I blew her eardrum out. I let out the biggest woo. But yeah, like it was the most, just just happiness and gladness, and just all these hard years of work. It just finally felt like it paid off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What about getting the call for the PBR?
And that was like, I remember it just like that, but
Yeah.
it was a different deal. Like I was laying in bed, me and Kayla had an early morning the next day. So like I was almost asleep. Frank calls. I don't answer the first time because I'm like, I'm just going to bed. I'll talk. And I should have answered it. He called me back later. I was like, he called again. And I was like, okay, I got to answer this time.
Something's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's going on, Frank? And he told me the news, and like, it's that one was more surreal. Like I had to pinch myself almost. Like, am I really getting to work the PBR finals? Did I really get to work the NFR? It just, you work so hard to get to this point, and then you're living your dreams, and it almost just feels like you're asleep. Like it's too good to be true.
That's so cool, man.
Yep.
That's awesome. What about when you won the world title you were talking about in 2011?
Yeah.
Between that and then the big wins you've had at Salinas.
Yep.
Salinas.
Yep.
What kind of compare those two, since those were more freestyle and that
Yeah.
was individual type of moments?
Yeah. So for me, winning the world in 11, it was such a bittersweet moment because at that time, me and Chuck, like I said, our friendships was developing and we'd become really close. Well, me and him both won both of our rounds. We make it to the short round, and he's like 90 and I'm 90. We tie in the short round.
Oh my
so it's
gosh.
like, how better can this be? They go off of the tiebreaker. They go off like previous rounds. Well, I ended up winning. So it was so cool to win that. At the same time, it sucked because my friend didn't get to win it, but
Yeah.
it was a memory I would never forget because Chuck was, genuinely excited for me, and that was something that from that moment I appreciate about Chuck is how he's been, a good friend through the good and bad, whether he's winning or I'm winning or he's losing or I'm winning, it's been good to have friends like that. And then Salinas, so actually in 15, I won it in 16 and 19. In 15, I was leading it by a big lead because it's
Yeah.
aggregate. So that fourth
Okay,
day, I
yeah.
had a big lead. I just needed to finish my bullfight.
Yeah.
I get a refight, no big deal. Well, the refight, he hooks me and he steps on my knee brace and bends it. I
Oh,
can't bend my
man.
leg because he breaks this knee brace, so I have to take it. Well, I spend 20 seconds of dead time. I ended up losing by a couple points. So that next year in
man.
16, when I won it, it was kind of redemption,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can win this, and
Yeah.
it was cool. And then, the last bullfight I entered was Salinas. So to get to win the last one I've entered to date was pretty neat to go out that way as of right now. I'm not saying I'm done freestyling, but
but that's what you were telling me before the podcast was that's the last time you did freestyle bullfighting, right?
Yep.
That's cool. But you do think you'll do it again?
I'm not gonna say no because I mean, like, I feel like as long as I'm bullfighting, I'm a bullfighter, and if I have that itching to want to go enter, and right now I'm just so busy with my rodeos and bull rides, I'm very fortunate I don't have to go enter unless I want to, and right now it's just when I have a weekend off, it's kind of nice to be home and be with family. So.
Oh yeah. How many rodeos do you go to a year typically?
So rodeos and bull rides last year, I think I worked 30 to 40 events, and I worked like 130 performances. So this year it looks to be even crazier. Like I think I'm already into the 60s as far as performances go.
Yeah.
So by the time I get done here, I'll be like in the 70s, and so we're only into May. So I would say this year is looking to be on track to be better than last year. So at least 130 performances, God willing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, we didn't even mention this, but you're a Lane Frost athlete.
That's right.
To boot in all this, right?
Yep.
So talk a little bit about your dynamic with the brand and with Stetson, kind of when you started working with Stetson and the Lane Frost brand, and kind of today what that relationship looks like.
Well, so I've obviously known the Lane Frost brand for a while, and Lane Frost because I remember as a kid, like 8 Seconds was a movie that I would watch over and over again. Like I loved just bull riding and rodeo in general, so getting to watch that, it's just so awesome that they made that movie and to bring the Western sports world to mainstream at that time, when there wasn't social media and all that stuff. But so me and Stetson became friends, and then I think last year is when we kind of got stuff worked out and been partners since. But me and Stetson get along great. He's easy to work with, and then just the company. I love that they're carrying on Lane's legacy. And they're people. Not that his legacy was fading, but I'm sure 8 Seconds isn't as relevant now as it is back then. But to have this brand and to be walking around the stockyards and see people wearing Lane Frost hat, that's amazing to see.
Yeah. And so speaking of kind of carrying that on, so you actually got to be a part of the documentary that we've been filming. So we shot some stuff. We're really excited to present it to the world. And, we have big aspirations that this will be one of those things that, Lane or 8 Seconds has really carried that torch for the last 30 plus years.
Yep.
And, we truly are excited about this documentary and feel like we're getting close on it. We know it's taking a while, but we've been working really hard on it. Good things take time, and that's kind of what we're hoping. But, talk a little bit about that day and just being able to come out there and participate in something like that and what that meant to you.
It was cool to be back out there. So I'd been out there before because Frank Newsom had done some schools, and I got to help out with there. But getting to be back out at his place and then to be filming for the Lane Frost documentary was just an amazing opportunity to get to be part of that I couldn't turn down, and to be there with Stetson and the whole Frost family as we're doing it. It was just a surreal feeling to get to be part of something like that, and to, like you said, I can't wait to see it out because I do think that this documentary is going to be the next 8 Seconds where it can continue to carry on his legacy. And right now documentaries are so big and so huge. Like Last Dance came out, we were talking about that and how it showed how awesome and how driven Michael Jordan was. And I feel like this documentary is going to be that for Lane Frost and for the rodeo and Western sports world. That it's going to really hopefully take off like wildfire and just continue to grow the sport and the fan base.
Right. We were excited to have you out there that day. That was probably one of the coolest days of production I've ever been a part of. It was just fun to be out there, Speaking about Lane Frost just in general, obviously the tragedy that happened in Cheyenne with Lane, it left a lasting impact and fingerprints on the sport, right? Because, you think about the events that kind of led to 8 Seconds, whether it was the actual fact that he died at such a big rodeo, kind of what Tough did for him, in his honor, carrying on, winning the world that year, all those factors that kind of play into it. Specifically talking about just cowboy protection in general, when you kind of look at what happened to Lane Frost or what even has happened to, a handful of guys since then, right? How does that motivate you as a bullfighter, and how does that kind of change the trajectory of what you do?
Stuff like that makes you realize that this is a life or death sport at times, and it doesn't happen every day. But in my career, I've been at some rodeos where a bull rider has died, and to be a part of something like that, whether you could do something or not, it still sticks with you because somebody's life was lost, And as our job is to keep everybody safe. We want everybody to be able to go home to their family that day. And so for those type of moments, it just shows you the sport, and it makes you want to be that much better for every day in every bull, because I do want to see everybody make it home. I'm friends with a lot of these guys, and I want them to be able to go to their wives and kids that night, and if it's my life or theirs, I signed up for the job. I knew what I signed up for, and I'm going to have to do everything in my power to make sure I do it so that they can go home and they can get on that next bull that next day.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's such a selfless mindset, and, I have a lot of respect and admiration for what you do for these guys, and because they're not the only ones putting their lives on the line. You as well, you and the guys in the dirt with you. When you think about particularly safety in general, like some of the things that I feel like came from what happened with Elaine and several other accidents, the vest, the evolution of the vest, and into the evolution of wearing helmets and different things like that. When you do bull riding schools bullfighting schools and have been to bullfighting schools, do they ever talk about, some of the safety measures and different things that go on in the arena itself?
Yeah. So, I mean, like the as far as when we show up, the first thing we do is go over equipment for bullfighters, right? So we want to know what you have and if you need to change it to be in a safer mindset, like, do you wear cleats? Okay, what kind? Okay, these are probably better for you, and this is why. And you should probably wear knee braces. It's an investment. Your bottom half is what's going to help you in further your career. And if you got bad knees and bad wheels, then you're not going to be able to go on. And what type of vest you wear, like you said, after Lane, the development of the vest came through, and the vest has done an amazing deal to protect and prevent a lot of wrecks for these guys, or make them not as bad as what they could be, where it's broken ribs or punctured lungs, not death.
Yeah.
So the equipment has changed a bunch, and to see the development of all that stuff has definitely helped the sport, I think.
Yeah. How is y'all's vest different from the ones that riders wear? Like y'all's, let's talk about your gear versus theirs.
So mine is more like, so we have a hard plastic outlayer, and then there's a little bit of cushion underneath. And then the bull riders, they have a little bit more, theirs is leather, and then they have protective within the layer, or the leather that is more protective. So ours is, we're going to be more or less getting hit with horns. So we want to be able to take that punch and kind of disperse it, where theirs is leather, and it's going to, hopefully that hoof, when they get stepped on, is going to kind of slide more than stick, where it's not full force.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that, and then that itself, that each athlete has different type of vest, whether you're bullfighter, bull rider.
Yeah. No, that's great. So let's talk about plans and goals for you. Mm-hmm. So you're 33, about mid-career, I'd imagine. So what, first you've been to the NFR once, been to the PBR World Finals once, said you may or may not bullfight again. What are your plans for this year and then the next couple of years? What do you see?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a good question. I'd love to be able to say I fought bulls till I was in my 40s, but that's kind of up to God. And for me, as far as bullfighting, I want to be able to do it at a high level. And if I feel like my level is dropping, or I can't do it as well as I did, a year ago, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it for the wrong reasons. I want to make sure that my intentions are pure, and I'm still doing it for the same reasons I did when I started when I was 16. And then I still have the love for the game, that I'm not become bitter or jaded or anything like that. And every day I'm continuing to get better and thrive to get better, and not only get better myself, but I'm making sure the people around me, I'm helping them get better. And that's my goals. And I obviously want to go back to the NFR again. I want to do the PBR final. I've only done one perf, but I want to do it again. It's amazing to be a part of these deals, and I don't want to take them for granted. And if I never get to do it again, I want to make sure that I'm in the moment and appreciate the 7 performances and everything part of the PBR finals that I'm a part of right now, because I learned through the NFR that just as you have waited for this moment to come. It's over in a blink of an eye. So make sure that you enjoy every day, every moment of it.
Yeah,
that's life in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. That's just a great life mentality in general. That's cool that you realize that and kind of stay in that moment.
Yeah.
But we're going to transition now into some fan questions. So,
okay.
Hope you're ready for these. So, Luis asks, what advice would you give a high school kid that wants to get into bullfighting?
So first thing is find a good school. You know, Cody Webster, Frank Newsom, Dusty Tuckness are the three best schools that I've, been a part of and gone to and seen what they teach. And to me, it's all about good fundamentals, and those three guys do a great job. Go to a good school. After that, find a good practice pen where you can get good out of it and you're surrounded by good people. And then surround yourself with those type of people that you can go with and then be willing to listen to advice and seek wise counsel.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great advice. Tyler asks, when you're at an event, I'm trying to kind of interpret the question.
Yeah.
When you're at an event, as a collective group, do you usually know what the bull does? Like, do you have knowledge of the bulls and kind of keep up with what they do and different things like that? Yeah,
so that's a good question. So I get that kind of quite often, but I mean, there's bulls that they have their habits, right? Just as I have my own habits. But a bull, just as a human, every day could be different. 9 times out of 10, this bull could be mean. He could have these tracks, but today he has different tracks and he just leaves. He doesn't even try to hook. Or this bull, 9 times out of 10, he's the nicest bull. He just walks out, no problem. But today he's had a rough day and he decides to hook somebody. So we really can't game plan or think about, well, this bull did this or this bull did that. We got to be able to read the situation and react in the moment. Read the book as it's happening.
Yeah, that's good. Belinda asks, so having knowledge of the bulls, is there specific bulls that y'all are always kind of like, ugh? Like, is there bulls that you dread, and you don't have to give names if you don't want to, specific bulls, but what would be something that as a collective group y'all would be like, I don't like this bull makes me have my guard up and makes me worried about it? Is it kind of like that big black bull at Lane's Arena that day?
No, so I mean, the mean bulls are the fun ones, right? They're the ones that you get to have some action, have some fun, right? So I don't feel like we have any it's just like, hey, like this one's game on, like have your guard up, be ready to go, And then as far as like the freestyle, like I said, I don't enter a whole lot of freestyles, but there are bulls that have reputations that aren't as much fun. They might be a little bit more front-endy, or they've seen a lot, so they know a lot.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that you got to kind of keep it simple and not let them get into your head and beat you before you even nod for them.
Yeah. So tonight, Legend and Solo are both out.
Yep.
When you think about big athletic bulls like that, that contort their bodies and do different things when they're in the air, and obviously they're really rank and get guys on the ground quick.
Yeah.
What is y'all's, like, walk me through something like that? Like, kind of paint me the picture of, like, Solo's up, he's ranked, bull of the year kind of thing. What's in your mind? And when a guy gets bucked off quick like that, is that something you have to be, obviously you have to be prepared for it, but is it something that you kind of have a game plan in your mind of, we really have to all do our part kind of thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, so, just speaking on those two bulls, Legend and Solo aren't mean. Like, they won't hook you unless they have to, and they're just trying to get out of the way. So knowing that, like, we have to kind of pay attention to where we're at in the arena with them. If they get in a corner, they might hook us, but it's not on purpose. They're trying to, but we still have to,
around.
Right. We still got to be in position to handle that situation. So our aggression doesn't change.
Yeah.
But then also too, like, they're very athletic bulls that you don't know day in and day out what they're going to do. They don't have really set track. Like, they have like 3 or 4 tracks, and so you got to just kind of take them jump for jump, and then 2, pay attention who's on their back. Like, there might be a guy that hangs, so we're ready for a hang up, or this guy, he's kind of slow right now. He's it's been a long season, they're banged up. Okay, we got to be a little bit more wary where he's going to land stuff. But and honestly, like, I'm a fan of the sport. That's why I started. I love bull riding. So, like, these are the nights like the ranked night at the NFR, like those are the nights that are cool to get to be a part of. You get to see some really historic rides. Like I remember Stetson riding Chiseled for like 90-something points in 21. Like that's the stuff tonight where I think we get to see a lot of, high scores and memorable moments from this finals.
Yeah, definitely, man. This one's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Sandy asks, what's your coffee or drink order?
A coffee or drink order? So I've been trying to cut back on the coffee, but if I do coffee, I'm either like black coffee straight, or I like it's not really like creamer and stuff. I'm like mochas or lattes or cappuccinos. Like I want it either super sweet or bitter. Like I don't want no half and half.
There's no in between.
No, there's no in between. Then drinks, like I stick with water, Gatorade, those Body Armor, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. Ryan asks, do you have a save that you're the most proud of or that stands out in your mind?
There has been a couple that really stand out. There's one in Fort Worth, my first year there. Like I came in, worked the Extreme Bulls shootout, and I left, and then I came back in to fill in for a guy that got hurt. It was my second performance back, and I get hooked and get launched. And I remember Bob Tallman and then Jim Gay, both, they said, welcome to Fort Worth. And that, like, just something that stuck out, like, oh, dang, okay. This is what Fourth is like. All right, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, man, Harp, is there anything else you'd like to say to your fans and or just fans of the sport in general?
No, man. I like I said, I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate all the family, friends, and fans that keep up with me and enjoy what I do, and I hope that they, after listening to this, just become bigger fans of the sport and realize, how special this sport is, and how amazing the Western lifestyle is, and that we still get to be a part of it and to carry on the traditions that Lane did. So it's awesome to get to be part of it.
No, man, we're honored to have you on, and you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's why we do this podcast.
Right.
Like, I want people to hear guys like you that have just y'all's hearts and the way y'all approach life and the way you approach things in general, because obviously I'm just a big fan of the sport myself,
Yeah.
And so to hear guys talk about their passion for it, whether they grew up in it or didn't, you know, it's great to hear, and the story behind how they got there. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And again, thank y'all for listening, and to the Lane Frost brand for sponsoring the podcast for 2023. Without that support, we couldn't do what we love doing here, just like what Harp just said. Make sure and go to lanefrost.com for merch and all things Lane Frost, along with all of their socials across all platforms. And also big shout out to Don Stubbs and the brand room for allowing us to set up today. Harp, if you wouldn't mind, tell our audience what your social handles are and where people can follow along with you.
Yeah, so Facebook, I got a fan page, Nathan Harp, and then Instagram, it's Nathan_Harp.
Awesome. And please follow along with us on social media at Tough Draw and at Tough Draw Talks for more episodes of our podcast as we continue to bring y'all closer to the rodeo community. Until next time, everyone, enjoy the ride.